Welcome back. Hope you're doing good. In this video, we will see how to make Windows to run faster. There are some tips and tricks which you can use to make Windows 11 to run faster so that it gives you optimal performance when you are using your PC or laptop. First and foremost, check for the updates. Click on the settings and you can check the updates and see if the updates are current. In this section of Windows Update, you can check for update. Also check if you are using a proper antivirus software so that there is no virus on your PC or your laptop. Virus, bloatware, malware can make the PC to run very slow. So it is highly recommended to use one of the antivirus software. Another trick is to check the drives which you are using on your PC, specifically the C drive where the system drive is there. You can check and see if the usage percentage is within the threshold and it has not crossed more than 90%. If it is more than 90%, you need to clean the C drive. So check for the drive which the operating system is using and make sure that at least 20% or at least minimum 15% of the space is free, because this will improve the performance. There is also another trick to boost the Windows 11 performance. Press the Windows and I key on your keyboard to open the settings, or click on the start menu and click the settings. From here, from start and settings, it will open the settings. Then go to the power and check the power mode and set it to best performance. If you are using best power efficiency and balanced, the CPU will not get the power what it requires. The CPU will underperform. When you use best power efficiency and balanced, the CPU will not get much power what it requires. So if you wanted to boost the performance from the CPU, so select best performance. Another trick is to right click on the task manager and select the startup apps. Once you select the startup apps, you will see the applications which are running, and these are the applications which will start up during the boot up. Whenever the Windows operating system will boot, these are the applications will be starting. So if you don't want any of these applications which needs to be started during the boot, you can remove. Right click and disable the startup. You can disable the startup apps. So if I don't want the Microsoft Edge, I can disable, and Teams, if I am not using, I can disable. If I don't want OneDrive, I can disable. So basically, if you are not using any of these apps, you can simply right click and disable. I will also disable the security health. That is fine, I will leave it. Xbox I don't want, so I'll disable, because I don't want the Xbox to be started up. Check whatever applications if it is enabled, and if you see any of these applications which are not required to be started up during the boot, so you can disable these applications. You can disable from here, or you can enable or disable from here also. If I wanted to disable, right click and disable, and if the same app has to be enabled, I can use this option to enable. and also I can disable. The other trick to boost the performance is press Windows and R key to open the Run dialog box and enter services.msc in the Run dialog box. The services.msc will be opened. This is basically the services to access the services tool, and you can see here what are the services which are running in your operating system. If you see any of the services which are not relevant or which are not used, you can disable it. Now I wanted to search for Windows search option here. So I will disable this because this is the one which will index the files and folders. This will index the files and folders for giving better search optimization in Windows 11. In case you don't want the search to be indexed, you can always come and disable it. So it will not index the search. You can also right click and select the properties and choose the startup type to be disabled so that this particular service will be always disabled even if Windows boot it doesn't start up. There are other tricks which we can use, like configuring the virtual memory, which is nothing but the page file, configuring the disk cleanup tool to clean up all the junk files and temporary files which is not required by the operating system, enabling the storage sense to automatically clean up the junk files and see what are the space which is used by the files which is not required by the operating system. Let us see these tools or tricks one by one, and we can configure. To do that, I have to click on the Start settings, then I need to come to Storage, click on System and Storage. Once you click on Storage, it will give you the details for the drive. It will also show you the capacity of the drive which is being used, and if there is any temporary files which are there in this drive, it will also show you the details of the temporary files and how much space it is being used. There is also an option to use the storage sense. Storage sense is basically an automatic tool which will check the temporary files and junk files as per the configuration, and it will delete the temporary files. To configure the storage sense, I am going to click on this arrow key and it will give you an option to automatically use cleanup. I can disable it. Enable for automatically cleanup or disable to not to use automatic cleanup. If you disable it, the automatic cleanup will not happen. When you enable, you can even schedule the automatic cleanup, and you can specify every day, every week, every month, or even during low free disk space, which is the default. If there are deleted files in your recycle bin after 30 days, if storage sense is enabled, it will automatically delete the files in the recycle bin. If you don't want to delete the recycle bin content, you can select never to delete any recycle bin. Sometimes you might be deleted some of the files and it will be moved to recycle bin. At a later point, you realize and you wanted to recover those files from the recycle bin. So in that case, choose never, or if you wanted the storage sense to clean up your files, you can select any of these options. Select from any of these days and set the configuration so that recycle bin data will be deleted. Also, it will delete the files and folders in the downloaded folder. You can also schedule that. You can choose never, or you can even choose number of days when it has to be deleted from the downloaded folder. If you wanted to manually run the storage sense, now you can manually run by clicking now. Run the storage sense and see the recommendation, what it will provide, and take action based on the recommendation what the storage sense has provided. It will actually scan the disk and see what are the junk files. If it has provided any recommendation, take action based on the recommendation. Because this is not very old installation and this is a new installation, so I don't see any recommendation which is provided by storage sense. So there is no need to do any disk cleanup. In Windows 11, there is also an option to use the disk cleanup. This is a free tool which is available built-in within Windows. To use the disk cleanup tool, press Start and type disk cleanup. Search for the disk cleanup tool and this will open the disk cleanup tool, and it will also list the files which it can be deleted. These are basically the recommendation what it is showing. You can select whatever files you wanted to delete. You don't want to delete program files. I wanted to delete only temporary internet files. And if I wanted to delete recycle bin files, I can choose that. I can also choose the temporary files if I wanted to delete those temporary files. Once you select and delete these files, it will not be recovered. You can also view the files by clicking View Files. There is no downloaded files there. And if you wanted to view the temporary files again, I can view the temporary files, which is basically empty and there is no files. This is the cache for the internet files. And I will select OK to clean up. It will ask me to confirm to delete the files. Yes, go ahead and delete the files. While selecting, it is important to choose which folders and files you wanted to delete. Once the files are deleted, you will not be able to recover those files. It will take some time to clean up and it will delete all the files, whichever we have selected. Next, let us configure the page file or virtual memory or swap file using the disk space. To enable the page file, so setting the page file will increase the computer performance. So to set that, we need to click on the Start and click on the Settings. To enable swap, you need to click on Start, Setting, click on the System. And if you notice, you don't see the option to configure the page memory or page file here. but there is an option in About. If you click in this section, which is in the About, on the About, you will see multiple options, and you have some options. If you click on Advanced System Settings, there will be a dialog box which will open. In the System Properties, open. In the System Properties, click Advanced and click on Settings. Under the Performance, click Advanced. Here you can see there is an option to change virtual memory. You can set the swap memory. Swap memory, virtual memory, or page file is basically to increase the performance of your operating system. In order to set the page file, you need to select this option, Change. Click on the Change and disable this option which has been automatically set, and choose the custom size. The recommended value here will be, the recommended value for the custom size is 1.5 times of your physical memory. For example, if I am having 8 GB of physical memory in my laptop or desktop, then I have to use 1.5 times of this physical memory. So 12288 is the 1.5 times of 8 GB memory. So I have to enter 12288 for the initial size, and also for the maximum size I have to use 12288. This is the custom size for the virtual memory which I have configured. And also it is recommended not to choose the same drive as operating system. It has to be on a separate drive. So whenever you use virtual memory or swap file, choose another drive. For example, if you have another drive which is D drive, you can move page file to D drive. Since I don't have another drive, I am using the same drive. I'll set and click on OK. It will ask to reboot. Click Apply and OK. Once the page file is set, it is recommended to reboot your computer so that it will take effect of the configuration whatever you have done.